For more than a decade, the BGK family has been a champion of dreams. It's the dreams of those who work for a better tomorrow that drive us to reach our greatest potential. We are here to support our kingdom partners, their families, their ministries, and our communities.
BGK 24/7 online Christian TV network. Making what was once impossible, possible.
Hello and welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us after our small break. Thank you for joining us back here at the F.L.O.W for part 2 of performing through the process and processing through the performance. Right? Where self-confidence, doubt, and fear may be having you and taking you into a place. Our topic continues here at the F.L.O.W, where I am your host, Trayanda D. Towns, here at the F.L.O.W, faithfully living out wisdom, a broadcast of Glory Cloud Enterprises and hosted by the fabulous BGK Network, where we come together to allow a platform for you to be transparent, for you and where you can have a voice to settle your conversations and have that talk and walk away enlightened, empowered, and full of vision once again. So let's get back into it. Self-confidence, godly confidence. In our last show, we were talking a little bit about, and we shared a lot about the difference between God confidence, self-confidence, and how that has an effect on our success, on our livelihood, on our personal being, because it affects our self-esteem and it limits us in where we are at. It limits us as to where we can go. It limits us sometimes stuck in a place where we thought we have come from. And so we shared before about what that looks like. What does that look like when your self-confidence and your godly confidence has been triggered, has been altered due to past experiences, past through health, past through natural life experiences, and most of all, throughout this pandemic, sheltered in place moment. Many that thought they were in such a place of success, such a place of stability, a place of sound mind, heart, vision, and focus, have found themselves in this state of not knowing what to do next. And it's okay to be transparent. I believe in this hour, as many are finding that it's okay to be transparent, that many are stepping up and exposing themselves to truth and exposing themselves to learn about others and learn about others, the way they think and the way they operate, why they believe, why they do what they do, and how that they too can grow, be strong, and be nurtured, can come together collectively. I've seen individuals and cultures and economic levels all across the board coming together, reaching out, trying to find a common place where humanity can be restored. And yes, I am sure it is very uncomfortable, especially coming from a place that has been in your own world, your own community. And I'm just not talking about on your block. I'm just talking about the community of what the way you think and how you operate, and your cultural backgrounds, and the way you do business, what that looks like. But this has provided and caused a space of sharing, of reaching out, of encouraging, of loving on those outside of ourselves. And that is great. That is great. But in this, are you allowing yourself to receive the same? Are you allowing yourself the same love, the same patience, the same encouragement? I think it may be difficult for many that have stood in the gap as being the head, to being the provider or the co-provider, of being the CEO, of being the doctor, of being the lawyer, and now they find themselves in a place with such a subject, a topic, oh my God, circumstances and situations beyond man's um, own single-handed wisdom and knowledge to bring a solution to what we're dealing with. And that takes some practice, that takes some cultivating. And so now that the acknowledgement has been there, the acceptance is there that this is the new norm, right? For some, it is still a difficult time and place to come back and to bounce back. And so what does that look like? What does that look like to bounce back? How can one begin that process of bouncing back? I talk about that often, and I share about the 4 principles and the 4 values of one's principle of being, and principle of operation, and principle of just the 4 principal characteristics and pillars of being successful, being when you're providing a service, providing a product, or just providing and allowing yourself to be the vehicle of strength, information, and encouragement for others. I'm sure this is very difficult for many leaders all over the world that has not only have been torn away from those they have been called to lead and to direct and to guide. And now they have to be unique in how they keep those relationships and those connections vibrant. And not only that, they're carrying the weight of all those within their community, their tribe, their whole net, their church, their ministries. They're also carrying that for their own families and family members, and for themselves, that everyone can stay safe and everyone can stay healthy and whole and can stay in a safe mental space. And so starting all over again, taking a breath, breathing in and breathing out, that this has been confirmed that it's the new norm for the next several months from what it looks like. What does it look like to bounce back when your confidence has been challenged, right? When your courage has been fumbled around with, when fear is coming in and says everything that you've worked for, everything that you have gained, everything you have accomplished is now on the line, and you're going to lose it all. And if you don't have a plan to bring it all and keep it together, now we're talking about your reputation, because you were the one responsible. Something sounds and calls an uncomfortable feeling, because somewhere in there, if we look at it, many have unconsciously and unintentionally, and I'm going to talk about myself probably at a time, and have gotten a little excited in all the grace and the blessings and the transformation that I did not do that alone. That's fair down the line, somewhere through all the process, there was a plan greater than me. There were plans and individuals and paths and connections that were in place and position, waiting for me to flow through, to connect, that the current and the dots will connect, that the way will push through all the gravel, the stumbles, the barriers, all of those things that at some time, yes, sometime another, yes, it was a challenge to keep going. But knowing that there is something greater, there is people in place and position, and that was part of the process, right, of getting to that place. Getting to that place, just having conversation. There's no blame, there's no shame, there's no pointing fingers, but just being honest here. Because there are times that the feel good is so good that, we forget the basics. And so, how do we get back to basics? How do we rise again? Right? Learning to rise again and understanding that it's okay to get up from a fall, overcoming and correcting the mistakes, failing through those setbacks and negative transitions and interruptions. Yes, it's okay to get up again. It's okay to transform that energy and take it and transform that negative mindset into a positive. Transform all that come against your courage and your strength that tell you that you can't get up and do it again, and take it and allow it to create a space of flow of positive, productive force. It's okay to get back up again and open the door to gain the strength and to allow those obstacles to be the tool to continue to pave the way, to build the bridges, to allow you to see the fruits and the products of that process. When all is waiting on you and demanding the greatness in you to fix it all, and you can't fix it all, getting back up again, right? Owning that story, telling your story, being the author of your story, of the finish, even in this. Yes, you may have worked for a corporation that no longer may exist, or you may not have that same position. You be the author of that story, that hobby, that offer, that conversation that you had about that dream with your sisters in your sisterhood group, or your brothers in your man group, that dream of changing the world and impacting lives. Now is the time to lay out and allow the dew of the glory to manifest those things within you. There is a nation of people, there are a nation of many waiting in an unconventional way to hear the truth, to feel a love, to see a light of those that say that have been speaking that there is something greater than us, that has sacrificed his life that we may live and live more abundantly, have hope, peace within us, free of fear. Yes, discouragement, fear will come. That's part of our normal makeup. Emotions is part of our normal makeup, right? Confidence is a normal personality trait, but it does get altered. It does get altered through life circumstances. Research says when leaders utilize certain skills as part of the courage building process, their behavior is more in the realm of courageous risk taking, using those skills and those tools, right? Healing, allowing yourself to be healed, right? Many talked about it. My previous show, we talked about some of the questions that was asked, and what does that look like? What does that feel like? How does that sound? Right? And so just know, as long as you continue to stretch yourself beyond your limits, right? Because we did also talk about, human nature limits us. It limits our perspective when we're in our human nature of confidence. But when we are in our God confidence, we trust the process. We trust the promises. We walk in it. We feed ourselves. We feed our spirit. We allow it to be nurtured in worship and teachings and guidance, that we can stand strong, right? And even when we're taking risks that may bring uncomfortable results, we are okay with that, because doing that is allowing us to take actions once again. And those actions are allowing experiences, and those experiences is bringing about a positive, strong confidence. It's building our self-esteem, and it's allowing us to be open to the next level of what is. See, this is not the end. It just feels like it. But at the end of everything is a beginning. And so, how do we do that? How can we continue? Right? Find yourself building that space, right? You sometimes have to earn that self-confidence too, right? Because you have to put in hard work that's necessary to be successful, and many felt that they had done that, but you were being successful for others. You were giving the glory to others. You were giving the praise to others for allowing you to be in the space and have that space of success. But when all gifts, tools, knowledge, and wisdom does come from the greater one that is within us, right? So let's start. How do we begin that process now that we have acknowledged that it's okay to get up? Every new day is a new day to get up again and start all over again. So goal setting, right? Some say, it's important to do that. It doesn't work. But one of the goals is to work in improving your self-confidence. And if you haven't done that, if you haven't tried that, try it. If you need a tool to help you do that, please reach out. Follow the link here. Follow the link that's here, that is posted. Get your copy of the 30-Day Gratitude Journal. There is a section there that allows you to place and post and write about your successes. There's a place to talk about the steps that you're taking to self-work, because we need to continually to self-work and allow ourselves to be worked on, right? And we can't do that when we're busy. No longer are we going to be in a place of just giving the crumbs to ourselves and to our families and to our dreams and goals, but it is going to be the first, God first, family, and then those things. Bringing about the order of things in this time is right before us. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, I have to continue to remind you that it is uncomfortable, right? Experience is uncomfortable, but it brings about wisdom. It grows your faith. It allows you to live holistically and strong, right? It allows you to be open, right? In all aspects of your lives, right? And so, a couple of those ways to do that, right, is once again showing gratitude even in this. Yes, you've been torn away from your jobs, your friends, going out to eat, going to the movies, but you have a place where your family is safe at the end of the day. You have an opportunity to write, to bring about dreams and visions. You have a place where you can prepare a meal and possibly offer someone a meal. No, you can't go give it to them, but there is a way to do all that. But be in gratitude whenever you're feeling that fear and being discouraged, right? Just switch it over and remember and be reminded of what you're grateful for, right? The little things, right? Technology has allowed opportunity for us to be connected in many ways, In that gratitude, once again, journaling, write it down, begin to work it out. Talk about it, being transparent, being transparent. The greatest milestone for me was being okay with saying that I am not okay. Breaking out of the box of saying just because I have accepted Christ and walking in salvation and love and the things of God, that I don't have any turmoil, I don't have any trials, that I don't have any bad days, I don't get sick, or saying, and I understand, speak it till you believe it, and things like that. But there comes a time where you need to be transparent of where you are and stop penalizing when others break and crumble and then say, oh, I didn't know, they should have said something. We've had a warning many times, because suicide rates has not just increased for adults. It has increased for children as young as 10 and 8 years old, because our ways and our lack of self-confidence and trust has brought about teachings and habits, even among our young people, where they're not being honest, and that self-confidence and their self-esteem is like no longer even a speckle, right? It's no longer a speckle. So let's change that. How else can we work on that, right? Allow yourself to be mentored, allow yourself to be coachable, allow yourself to be walk through a path of healing and changing habits, starting small, right? Your story. Be honest with your story with yourself. We all tell stories, right? But a lot of times we tell about the good stories. We don't tell about our fear stories. We don't tell about our discouraged stories. We don't tell about, our lack of confidence stories, right? But if it's okay, if you're afraid, but just tell your story. Tell your story in your head if you have to. Tell it in your head, right? But tell it in a way where you're rewriting it. You're rewriting it, that you're bouncing back and you're feeling strong, because eventually this does take away from your physical body. It takes away from your mental health. It not only is affecting you, it's affecting those around you in your space, right? Hey, and the biggest one is releasing the control. How many of us struggle with releasing the control? Releasing the control. Breathing and accepting each day for what it is. Being open to hear the voice and to hear the sound of movement, of what direction you should be operating in at that time. Because producing in the process right now is setting up a foundation for what's to be once we're released from this. Do you want to come out of this and still not be prepared and have a foundation for what happens when we're released out of this? Right? Find some meaning. Find some meaning in that. Right? Because that's something great. That's something great that you can offer. Right? Find some meaning in why that makes you afraid. Why does that limit you? Why that causes you to, not reach beyond that, right? Look at the challenges and look at the fears and the challenges that you've been up against at times. And it should have kept you back and caused you to fall back and miss out. But it caused you to move forward and to win in ways unimaginable, right? And we can't forget about praying. We can't forget about meditating on those prayers and talking and then allowing ourselves to be loved in that, surrendering ourselves, surrendering our thoughts, surrendering our ways. right? Exploring your roots. I know some of that is what happens here, stays here. We don't talk about it, just get over it. And you're not getting over it because now we are challenged like never before. And you don't want to come out of this. You don't want the doors to be open again to the world, and you're stuck. You're stuck in that place, and you're feeling unworthy when you're so worthy. You're so worthy, and it's okay to get back up again. It takes strength to get back up again. It does. It takes a lot of strength to get back up again, right? And another great way is remembering how to breathe. I tell you, I didn't realize how important that was going through my process, and when I was questioning everything and everyone around me, and I have this and I have this talent, I've given this and I've done that, and yet I felt like it was not enough. But it had nothing to do with where I was, because my family, my children loved me. Those around me loved me, encouraged me, but it had to do a lot with way back then, some roots and some things being said to me, even in my career path, and which is, a God ordained career path. I was told I couldn't do that. For one, because of the color of my skin. For two, people like us, especially Black women of color, we don't do that. And that our culture, our people don't have mental issues. We don't get sad. We don't get mad. We don't get depressed. We just deal with it, chuck it up, and move on. It's okay if you have a drinking problem. It's okay if you have a little breakdown and get, And it was time out. And so I went around having so many experiences, accomplishing thing after thing after thing that still led me on the path of being effective and being an influence and an advocate and a voice for many in that area, that I still ended up in the space of healing. And so part of my process is remembering to breathe. When we breathe, we're allowing God in. We are releasing the negative and impure out, not just physically, but spiritually. So I encourage you, breathe. It sets you free. It is an anchor to the now. It helps you vanquish and overcome the most pervasive fears. And it is the simplest and most powerful way of overcoming the negative doubt, the lack of self-confidence, right? Close your eyes if you have to. Tune it out. Allow your body to feel what that's like. Meditate on your word. Meditate on what brings you strength. Meditate on those promises and the visions and dreams that you have had and you have been shown to get you to your path. I speak life into you today. I speak life into every area of you that is reaching and have been suffocated of your hope on today. We denounce and cause to cease of all negative attacks and thoughts and plans, self-sabotage, fear and discouragement that has may fall upon you to keep you from in that place of confidence. We just call forth the Spirit of God, the Spirit of strength, the Spirit of praise and worship and strength to just rise up within you, that your wells will flow strong, flow with power. Bring about and ignite the power, energy, and light of fire to bring you to your expected end. I encourage you today to continue to connect here with us on the flow, where we come together with you, having those conversations, being transparent, equipping you with the tools to get you to the next level, to allow you to see your visions and strengths through. I am your host, Trayonda D. Townsend. I invite you to give us a call, 312-857-6055. Email us with your questions, concerns. Visit us, Facebook Coach T Towns or the Flow Life. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to praying with you. I look forward to celebrating with you because you have learned and transitioned into faithfully living out wisdom. Until next time, the flow.